Alright, hey guys. What's the show called again?
Jealous because I'm better than her. You're so ugly, you don't even belong in this TV show.
Okay, just take a deep breath. Do unbalanced forces. Like, make yourself have unbalanced forces.
See how am I going? No, I'm speeding up. I'm speeding up.
Alright, so you're saying that you have unbalanced forces when you are accelerating, correct?
Or decelerating.
Or decelerating. So as long as you're not traveling at a constant velocity, you have unbalanced forces.
Show.
Alright, Ireland, take a deep breath. Once you... Avery, could you describe balanced forces for us?
So that means you have no acceleration while you are moving. Then you are balanced forces. And so this is pretty much. So right now I have balanced forces because I'm moving at a constant velocity. This is also balanced forces, which you could tell because Island is too lazy to actually move. So this was her only explanation of balanced forces.
Alright, thank you for your time. Avery, why don't you explain to the viewers what happened after the cameras went off?
She called me dumb and ugly and she ruined my shoes. See this grass stain? It's never coming off. She is so...
Alright, Avery, I really need you to focus here, okay? So, can you please, pretty please, explain to us what static friction is?
Okay, so if Bro Quickly had like...
Explain to us who Bro Quickly is, real quick.
Bro Quickly is like the force applying. My boyfriend. Just waiting for that ring, you know? If you really like it, you should really put a ring on it.
I know, Avery, focus back. Okay, so Bro Quickly was doing what?
Bro Quickly is like trying to push this really big box, you know? It's like really heavy. And Bro Quickly, he works out and stuff. He couldn't push the really big box, okay?
So, what force could he not overcome?
The static friction.
Like air resistance right now?
Yeah. See how those leaves... That was a fail. You see how they fall down slower than like a rock or something? Oh, this is a good leaf. Okay.
No!
So, see how the leaf fell later than the rock? It's because the rock didn't have air resistance.
Mm-hmm.
The leaf does.
Well, let's clarify, okay? So, matter and weight doesn't really have anything to do with air resistance, though, does it?
No.
So, the rock did have air resistance, just not as much, because it didn't take up as much surface area as the leaf did.
Okay, rolling friction. So it's like a marble because it's like when you roll it, there's like friction applying on it. That's why the marble flows down. So this is what rolling friction looks like. Looks like this. I don't care. And then it slowly slows down until it's a complete stop.
Alright, thank you. Ireland, you're cut out.
Why don't you walk off to explain fluid friction?
Ireland, you just killed the star.
Just kidding! You thought!
Fluid friction. Can you explain fluid friction, please?
You're either like swimming in water or when you're like in the air. Okay. That's why it doesn't like move around like everywhere.
Yeah, because fluid friction is keeping in place. So like a fish swimming through water, what would that be?
That would be fluid friction. Swimming, there's a little bit of extra force applying on you, so it's like harder to swim than if you didn't have fluid friction.
Let's talk about sliding friction. So like, what is it? Like what is it?
So sliding friction is the friction that stops a moving object that is sliding on the floor or like a table or something.
So if like this Coke bottle was like your DMs, and that was like the dude trying to slide into them, so what would happen? So the sliding friction stops it just there. Just before it gets there, it stops. Right. So like the sliding friction acts against the applied force and eventually slows it and stops it.
Yes.
Right, thanks. Calm down.
Pizza makes me emotional.
So net forces have to do with balanced and unbalanced forces. Okay, the way you determine that is from the free body diagram.
Okay, go deeper.
Okay, this is she says. Balanced, which so that means the net force would be 0. But if I was accelerated, then the net force would be more. So it would be like above 0.
So you're saying that the net force depends on whether or not your forces are imbalanced. So if your forces are imbalanced, then you have a positive net force.
Yes. So since there's like N, S, or like Those are directions like north, south, east, west, and stuff. Sideways. That would waffles.
Alright, thanks for explaining that. This is a demonstration on how Avery's phone actually broke. So, Avery will be playing the phone, Ireland will be playing Avery, and I will be playing Maeve. Hey Avery, why don't you throw your phone down that hill? Why would you actually do that? You're such an idiot. You're such an idiot. No. Are you upset? Avery, no! Your phone, it's so derpy. So, Avery, how do you feel about the situation?
My dad is going to freaking kill me. It like comes off or like it still works, but it's like not working and it's just like a horrible thing.
So, could you please explain the free body diagram for this situation?
Went down, and then it hit a rock, and then it just like, nope. Okay, so there are 4 types of friction: fluid, rolling, static, and sliding. Fluid and rolling, these are the weaker forces. So we're gonna go ahead and write that. And then these are stronger because they stop they stop like the objects faster. And so whenever we're swimming, the water stops us, which is the fluid friction, so we don't like go wall to wall, just like swimming around all over the place.
So that type of friction is weaker than the other ones because it's slower to react.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, so talk about rolling friction and do that same thing. Explain to us how it's weaker.
So whenever you're rolling a marble, that's how we explained it, was rolling a marble. So since it's rolling, it stops slower because it's harder to apply friction because it's always moving. And that it's weaker because it stops it slower. Static is probably the strongest, because the friction stops the object from moving in total.
So that's kind of what we're doing for all of these, is how much applied friction it takes to move with each types of friction.
Sliding friction is when you're sliding somewhere and the friction's like what slows you down. So when I like slide across the hallway, I don't like go all the way down the hallway.
So sliding friction is what it's called.
So in this segment we're going to be talking about balanced and unbalanced forces. Okay, so these are the 3 body diagrams for balanced and unbalanced forces. So unbalanced forces, the applied force and the friction is the same, and the gravity and the norm is the same.
So any 2 opposite or opposing forces have to be equal in order for the forces to be balanced.
Yeah, and so as you can see, these are like shorter. If I didn't have these lines, you would be able to see. These are shorter, but that doesn't matter because they're opposing forces. These 2 are not opposing, so it doesn't matter. We showed balanced forces earlier in the show by walking on a constant velocity and standing still.
When we did that, our forces were balanced because even if while we were moving, the 2 opposing forces were the same.
Unbalanced forces, this would be an unbalanced force because obviously these 2 are the same. So if it was just these 2 lines, the norm and the gravity, then that would be balanced forces. But there is applied force and friction, but the applied force has a lot more net force than the friction, so it would be accelerating. So I was accelerating, and then I was decelerating, and I came to a complete stop.
So while you were accelerating or decelerating,
There was unbalanced forces.
There were unbalanced forces, right? Okay, thanks.
Okay, so now we're going to be talking about net force. So net force is the difference of forces on a free body diagram.
So say if Bro Quickly was pushing this here box right here to the right, he was pushing it with 30 newtons to the right, and friction was pulling back 20 newtons. But since Bro Quickly's force was 30 and the friction was 20, you subtract 20 from 30 to get how much Bro Quickly is really pushing it. So the net force would be 10 newtons, right? So let's talk about...
So now let's just say that now we have 2 people pushing it. Okay, so now we're going to be explaining free body diagrams. Okay, so if you can't tell, this is a free body diagram. So I'm gonna be explaining a free body diagram for this dude right here who decided to jump off the cliff, okay? So, but first, a free body diagram shows an object's movement and how they are moving. So usually involves friction, but since it's free falling, there's only a downward arrow. This is for gravity. So you put F, grav, because there's an F in front of everything. And so then he hits the ground and like dives. That's the free body diagram for that. Now, if there's friction involved, then you will add a force for friction. And if you're applying force, there would be a force for that applied force. If it's like on a, this would be if it's like moving, but since it's like, if it's on a table, you would have F norm. That's why it's like not going through the table, and that's what's stopping it. So these would be equal forces. And so let's say that this is a balanced force, so these would be equal as well.
School property.
So we explained this before when my phone fell and we were trying to explain the free body diagram for my phone, which is why it's broken, which it sort of did the same thing this guy just did.
So if we were to show this with her phone, let's say this little person is Avery, and this is Avery's phone. She went, and it fell on a rock because it was free falling and there was no air resistance acting against it.
So my phone did not have the norm, the application, or the friction because it was just free falling.
Right, so let's show them what would happen if somebody was falling and they had a parachute.
Okay, if they had a parachute, since they are in the air, there is no friction or applied force because they are in the air. So there is F gravity. But what is different from free falling, there is now air resistance, which is defined as the parachute. Okay, so that would be what it would look like with a parachute.
Don't even. Oh, my bad.
Oh
Gang,
my
gang.
freaking god!
It's fine.
Gang, touchdown.
It's fine. It's fine.
Gang, touchdown.
I'm triggered.
It's fine. Wake up. Trigger.
We're gonna add one last high school joke. High school joke. High school joke. High school joke. Bye, guys.